Good evening. With us, Amira El Sayed is an Egyptian-Austrian actress based in Berlin, Germany. She spent her early years living in Alexandria, Egypt, and moved to Austria when she was at 3. She left university at her first year of studying to be able to work on the theater play Cleopatra Club. At the age of 20, she wrote a book about the political development in Egypt. His name is The Sound of Freedom. She worked on several film productions such as Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll. Finally, her first international movie with Tom Hanks. Good evening.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Meet you too. Since you left your university for the first time at your first year for acting, how was your first experience in acting?
My first experiences were way before I went to university. So I started acting through actually my teacher at school, who really encouraged me to gain interest in literature and languages and theater. And we had school theater there. And so I started with little projects like this and was in a theater in Innsbruck, where I grew up in Austria. And that was like for children, for young people. And these were my first experiences. And afterwards I realized that that was actually a profession that I could.
How were you inspired to write The Sound of Freedom?
I was inspired actually because of my uncle passed away. So I digged in more into my family history and had a lot of interest for Egypt and its history. And also I thought that writing about a family, like starting with my grandmother, who was a Bedouin in the desert, going to my father, who was a young student in Egypt in the 70s, so you get the vibes and the feeling of the 70s and that era of Egypt, until now, and the revolution that happened. I thought a family would be a good example to follow the history in the background. So I just wrote it just for myself to know it and to study it. And while I was writing it, I met a publisher and he said, yeah, he would be interested in that.
Because you are an Egyptian, then it is the vision that you see Egypt, or it is just a book for you?
No, it's not just a book for me, it's about my family, so it's very personal. And I grew up with both cultures, but a bit in between as well. So I always missed Egypt because I was where I couldn't live in two countries. So the one that I wasn't living in, I naturally missed. Yeah.
How was it when you were acting for the first time in your international film with Tom Hanks? How was your experience? How you feel?
I got casted for a way smaller role, and it was, I think I didn't even want to go to the casting, I remember that, because it was a very small, like 2 scenes, or not even 1 scene, and I should have worn like full-up coverage burqa kind of thing, and I didn't want to wear it, and I thought it's not going to help me in my career, I'm not even going to be seen. And so my agent talked to me and said, come on, Amir, just go there and try it, because the caster is very big, Simone Bär, and just meet her and try and meet Tom Tikva, or at least he sees you. So I went there and wasn't very, very happy about it, but I did the casting and they called me a week later and said they want to give me a bigger part. So I was very happy about that, yeah.
How do you see the way the movie handles the problem of the Middle East?
For me and for all the people that I've talked to, like Alexander Black, who's also from Alexandria, he's the second star of the movie, which is pretty cool. We see it that every time they're hinting to a cliché or something against the other culture, it's not happening in the movie. So it's actually like an anti-climax movie, you know? These clichés never happen in the movie. So it's a movie to bring these two cultures together. One American comes with a picture about the Arabic world, and he experiences it and sees how nice the people are, and that's the joke and the beautiful thing about that movie. That's how I see it, and I think that's the way this movie is meant. Yeah.
And is that affect its success?
I don't know. I think in Saudi Arabia, I didn't even know that there weren't any cinemas in Saudi Arabia, so I don't know. I heard the success in Saudi Arabia wasn't very big. It wasn't very successful there. But I don't know. I couldn't tell, really.
That I know that it was banned because the Saudi Arabia thinks that it is a negative image about it.
I don't think so. I don't see it like that. Because I even read about my role, that she was the only Arabic woman in the movie and she was bitchy and, you know, and like really miserable to him. And I thought, I saw her completely different. I saw her like really proud and standing against him as this dumb American that comes in here and thinks he's the boss. So I don't think that it portrays it in a bad picture. In the opposite, I think that you can be really proud to be Arabic in that movie. Like the roles really portray the people in a good way. For example, the driver who's a comedian, you know, it's so great. No, I think it brings the cultures together.
And what are your future project? Did you have any? Do you have any project in Egypt, in the Middle East?
I actually got a few offers just now that I've been here, but I don't know if it's gonna happen. I still have to think. Yeah, but it would be lovely. Like I wouldn't say I'll never do it. Yeah.
I hope that you have a project in Egypt and in the Middle East, and or the successful for you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Then we'll do another interview.
Yeah.
By then. Thank you.
Thank you.